2 years ago, my 3 teenage kids and I had an encounter while bow hunting in northern Arizona. That day, my life changed, and I have the exact same feelings you described. I grew up in the outdoors, and I struggle now, always looking over my shoulder, and my kids do as well. I'm sad they will never have the serenity of the mountains I grew up with until the day we saw this small group just 45 yards away. Everything you said, I feel exactly the same about. They are real and do exist. Thank you for sharing. Eric in Arizona. Eric, appreciate that comment, man. If you want to email me, you saw a group. I think everybody might be interested in hearing what went down that day, if you feel like it one day, man. If you're still here watching the channel. Really interesting and much appreciated, Steve. I observed a Sasquatch around 30 to 35 years ago in the Cascade Mountains near Mount Bachelor in Central Oregon. I was on a winter survival class trip, and I had just broken my ski on a snow-covered log. I looked up about 500 yards above me, and he was silhouetted on the skyline, striding slowly along. I could tell he's about 8 feet tall, as his head was same height as lower branches of the big Douglas fir trees. I couldn't make the climb to check him out due to broken ski, but there was no doubt what I saw. Keep up the stories. Keep the stories coming. BC rocks. There you go. Denny, your comment's been shared. And another, and another, and another. Now look at this. Had this emailed to me, just the photo. Don't know nothing about it. It's in rock. Look at this. Anybody know about that? Anything about that? Because I don't. It's crazy though, right? There's a lot of real crazy shit. Evidence of some people being alive in rock around the globe. But not a large amount of people pay much attention to it, right? This is titled, no title, this is a comment screenshot another one sent in. I've seen a Bigfoot. Also, I have been baptized. Feel free to use my story. My name is Debbie. I was in Wellston, Michigan. Was near Dublin about 12 years ago. I was walking with a friend on a trail looking for morel mushrooms. There was a big pile of crap, the size of 6-pack tall cans left in the middle of the trail. I think we just read this, didn't we? The Bigfoot was looking over the bushes about 25 feet. Had a human-looking face. I feel it was a juvenile. Long black hair, charcoal color face. 6 to 7 feet tall. It was looking over the bushes at us. We were talking to each other when we made eye-to-eye contact. Then we turned around, walking back down the trail. The Bigfoot was looking over the bushes at us. And then on the side of the bushes. Did this several times. We laughed when we passed the crap. Never told anyone about it. Felt it needed to be free. Since the last year, I've been listening to all the stories reminding me of seeing it. Told a few friends, sending blessings and prayers for all those in need. Godspeed, healing, Sarah. I think we read that. I'm just ripping through my inbox here to get rid of... I've got so much stuff on my phone, you guys. I don't want to miss anybody. If I, excuse me, do a one quick 1 to 2 minute repeat, oh well, no harm done. I love your channel. I've been a subscriber for a long time. I'm a retired deputy sheriff for a rural county and have had many encounters with these things. My first encounter, I was 5 years old and I was very was very traumatizing to say the least. Most of my encounters were with something I cannot comprehend. Huge wolf-like creatures. My last encounter with one of these things was only a few months ago, which it tried to attack my dogs, 3 large pit bulls, and break into my home. I had to actually defend myself with heavy gunfire. Like you said, once you've seen these creatures, you can't unsee them. Changes your whole perception of life. I used to love to hunt and fish, and I spent a lot of time in the woods. I'm 55 years old, and when it gets dark, I stay in my home until the sun comes up. Typo. We'll say you said I'm still leery of the woods during the daylight hours. I try and share my experiences with friends and family, and they thought I was ready for the loony bin. So I kept it all in for the longest time. I've since started sharing some of my experiences, and I do not care who believes me or not, because now I have neighbors that have had experiences with these things, and they, until recently, kept it to themselves. These are people that I've known for 20 years or more. Just recently, they came forward to me to talk about it. Soon, I hope to email you about some of my experiences, because I now feel that I should share them whether I am believed or not. If no one believes me, that's their problem. Once they have their own experience, they will feel a lot different. I can assure you of that, because it has changed my life. Thanks, God bless. Send away, man. I don't know if you have sent or not, but please do. Keep sending it. We need, especially people that are scared to speak out loud for a while, we need you to crack it open. All right? We need you to crack it open. Here's another one. You asked, who is that one person you trust most, etc.? Well, my mother told me a story when she was a little girl and what she and her siblings saw. They never spoke about it after that day. But it's obvious. She saw a Bigfoot. So, yeah, I believe they exist. If you can't believe those who you trust most, who can you believe in life, right? Not sure how I landed on your channel. I'm glad I did. I've tried to tell others what I've seen as well, and like you said, they don't want to believe it. In 1978, I, along with 4 others, were on a 4-day float trip on the Buffalo River in the Ozarks of Arkansas. On the second day, we had to pull out early because of downpour and lightning storm. We set up camp about 50 to 60 back from the river on a higher bank. Being one of the older teens, I think you meant being one of the older teens, I was assigned to collecting firewood. As I went along the riverbank, I kept feeling like something or someone was watching me. As I was about back to camp, one of the older men came over to me and was looking very intently at the bluff edge on the other side of the river. Then the man that was in charge of the group came over also. There on the opposite side, about 50, 60 yards across, squatted down between a large boulder and a tree, was a very large creature. So they started hollering at it and throwing rocks the size of softballs towards it. Our rocks were landing a good 20 to 30 feet short. After about 5 minutes of us pestering it, it stood upright, and it was huge. Well, it decided to return a rock toward us. The rock was about the size of a basketball and weighed an easy 25 pounds. It landed about 3 feet from our boats that we managed to make shelter with. It let out a very loud huff and a bone-chilling whoop. Then turned, it took 3 giant leaps up the hill and was gone. Yes, none of us slept that night. No doubt. Yeah, I have a feeling that if anybody started a rock fight with one of these beings, you're probably going to lose.